What if the next generation of off-road SUVs isn't just about bigger tires and a taller ride height, but about completely rewriting what a vehicle is capable of before the road even runs out? Because the Kalen Ridgeback looks like exactly that kind of machine. Welcome back to SK Auto Garage, where we don't just walk around a car and list its specs. We look at what it's actually trying to prove, and whether it backs that up once things get difficult. And the Ridgeback has a lot to prove, because on paper it's a rugged off-road SUV. But look closer, and it starts to feel like something built with the mindset of a performance machine that just happens to wear all terrain tires. Start with presence, because this is not a soft, rounded crossover shape. The Ridgeback sits wide and planted, with a long travel suspension lifting it well clear of the ground before you've even asked it to do anything difficult. The front end is blunt and purposeful. Twin round LED lights sit low in the bumper like a signature rather than an afterthought, and the whole face has a deliberately mechanical look, more tool than ornament. It's a design that photographs well in a showroom, but it clearly wasn't designed for the showroom. From the side, the proportions tell the real story. 33-inch all-terrain tires fill the arches completely. The roofline stays low and taut despite the height, and a black roof rack running the length of the body signals exactly what kind of cargo this vehicle expects to carry. Not shopping bags, but gear. The matte black paint isn't just a styling choice either. Out here, it hides dust rather than showing every mark of it, which matters more than it sounds once you've actually used a vehicle like this off-road. Around the back, the design stays honest rather than flashy. There's no unnecessary chrome, no attempt to look delicate. The tail is upright and practical, built for visibility and departure angle rather than a sleek coupe-like taper. It's the kind of rear end that tells you this vehicle was engineered from the ground up to be climbed into, loaded up, and driven somewhere with no clear road at all. Step inside though, and the story shifts from rugged to genuinely thoughtful. The cabin doesn't feel stripped out or purely functional. There's a clean, driver-focused layout built around a digital instrument cluster and a central touchscreen that still keeps the physical controls you actually want in a vehicle like this. Real switches for terrain modes, a proper volume dial, buttons you can find by feel while wearing gloves. That balance between digital convenience and physical usability is something a lot of modern SUVs get wrong. And the Ridgeback seems to understand it. Materials lean rugged premium rather than delicate luxury. Textured surfaces, reinforced stitching, weather-resistant trim that still manages to feel considered rather than cheap. There's ambient ground lighting for stepping out at night, a terrain view camera system that shows what's happening under and around the vehicle when visibility from the driver's seat runs out, and drive mode settings that don't just change a number on a screen, but genuinely alter throttle response, steering weight, and suspension behavior depending on whether you're on tarmac, sand, or rock. So who is this actually built for? Not really the buyer looking for the softest possible ride into the office car park. This feels built for someone who wants genuine capability on the weekend without giving up comfort during the week. Someone who wants a vehicle that can be trusted the one time the road actually disappears. Underneath, the Ridgeback is built around a torque, heavy drivetrain paired with a proper low-range transfer case. Not a badge, only four-wheel drive system, but one designed to actually be used. The suspension has to do two contradictory jobs: well, stay composed and quiet on a long motorway stretch, then flex hard enough over broken rock and sand to keep every wheel in contact with the ground. Get that balance right, and a vehicle like this can feel almost effortless in conditions that would stop most SUVs completely. On the technology side, the driver assistance suite is built around the same philosophy as the rest of the vehicle. Support without interference. Adaptive cruise, lane guidance, and collision warning cover the everyday motorway miles, while hill descent control, a locking differential, and that terrain camera system take over the moment the environment gets more demanding. It's less about flashy features and more about quietly reducing the number of ways a difficult situation can go wrong. Practicality hasn't been sacrificed for any of this either. There's real usable cargo space behind the rear seats, a roof rack rated for a genuine load, and enough ground clearance and wading depth to make a river crossing something you plan for rather than panic about. This is a vehicle that's just as comfortable doing a supermarket run as it is disappearing off-grid for a weekend. Put it all together, and the Kalen Ridgeback feels less like a lifestyle SUV wearing off-road styling, and more like a genuinely capable off-roader that also happens to be comfortable enough for daily life. It doesn't try to be the softest SUV in the segment, and it doesn't need to be. That's exactly the point. If you enjoyed this deep dive, give it a like, subscribe for more in-depth reviews right here on SK Auto Garage, and let us know in the comments. Would you actually take an SUV like this off the beaten path, or does it belong in the city? We'll see you in the next one.